Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode in the Coach's Corner all month long. We are talking hormones, and I am super excited today to have another hormone expert on, Kathy. Welcome to the Coach's Corner. I will let you introduce yourself.
Fabulous to be here. Hi, all of the Wellness with Gina fans that are out there listening. I am Kathy, as Gina said. I'm a board certified health and hormone coach for women 40 plus. I have a feeling that's you if you're listening. And I help people, get rid of those pesky hormonal symptoms like weight gain, insomnia, low libido, losing their hair, growing hair, acne, you name it. I talk about it.
Yes, so many things, right? As we
So many
age,
things.
there are just so many things to consider and so many things that we never had to consider before. A lot of times that the women I talk to, what they did isn't working anymore, especially when it comes to weight loss. And I know it's a lot of the reason that people seek out health coaching is because they want to manage their weight, but
Mm.
they're in that tricky time of perimenopause, heading into menopause. They've got high cortisol from all the stress that they're going through, and they're packing on the pounds, not knowing why. They're exercising, they seem to be eating right. Can you tell us a little bit about insulin and how important that hormone is and what's really going on?
Absolutely. And you just said the words that women say to me all the time. So obviously you're hearing them too. So if this is you, if you're having this experience, you are not alone. Okay. So I wanted to break it down, try to make it as clear as possible. So the hormone we're talking about is insulin. And what we're talking about is insulin resistance. And that's just fancy for having high insulin in your blood. Now, why is this important? Well, a few reasons. It's a marker of metabolic dysfunction, meaning like something's up with your metabolism, something ain't going right. And it's also a cause of something called reduced metabolic flexibility. So that's again just fancy science speak for when our cells can't switch from using glucose for energy to ketones for energy. And insulin resistance is also a driver of inflammation. And you may have heard the phrase inflammation is the root cause of all disease. So that's kind of what's going on when we have an insulin problem. And when we have that insulin resistance, plus that inflammation, plus that metabolic inflexibility, that is what causes the weight gain, that like section, like right around your middle. You can call it a muffin top, spare tire, gordita, whatever you want to call it. She's there. And truly, one of the wacky things is that fat that's around our organs that comes from insulin resistance is actually its own active organ. It's a hormonally active organ. So she truly is her own person in the same way that your stomach or your kidneys are their own beings. So the other thing about this is that the weight gain is the one that women come to us about, right? They don't like how they look. They don't like how their clothes are fitting. And yes, we totally want to manage that. But when we have, again, that triple threat of insulin resistance, inflammation, metabolic struggles, there are other things that can happen, like memory issues, facial hair coming, hair falling out, high cholesterol, a risk for things like dementia, osteoporosis, and heart disease increase. Hot flashes can be worse. Uterine fibroids can grow, and our uterine lining can also thicken. So that's where we see those really heavy periods. So that's kind of the who and the what. How's that so
Yeah.
far?
Yeah, and it's ugly. And it's a cascading effect. Like one thing is affecting something else, which is affecting something else. So we have to really back the train up here. We can't just talk about weight loss as calories in, calories out, or you're not eating the right things, or you're not exercising enough. Oh, no, 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 no. When we're talking insulin and insulin resistance and metabolic flexibility, holy smokes, inflammaging. I'm sure you've heard that term before.
Yeah.
All of that is it's the trifecta of the things that we do not want. Yeah, so what is the solution now that we know what we don't want to happen, or maybe we're already there, right, in this place of insulin resistance? What can we do?
So I want to just mention one more thing before we get to the what, and it's just that it gets worse in perimenopause and menopause. So if you're noticing that, just know that that is absolutely in line with what the norm is. Um, because estrogen actually has an insulin sensitizing effect. So as our estrogen is decreasing, that insulin sensitivity is naturally decreasing. So I like to mention that because that's a little out of our control, right? We really can't do that much about that piece. But there are lots of things that we can do. So let's get to the good stuff. All right. The most important thing you can do to reverse insulin resistance is to move. Move your body. And I'm not talking about doing a 90-minute exercise class or joining Orange Theory and being there 5 days a week. That's not what I mean by move your body. What I mean is we want to increase our low impact daily movement. And that's just fancy for walking.
Right.
If you just walk more every day, that's going to make an impact because it's going to help our cells take up more glucose, which is then going to impact our cells asking for insulin. They're going to ask for less because the glucose is going to be in the cells.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing. The other, it's like a two-prong. So the low impact movement and muscle building. It does not have to be at a gym with free weights. It doesn't have to be at a gym at all. You can do just body weight or exercise bands, resistance bands, exercises at home while you're watching TV or while
Right.
you're listening to a podcast. And those two things are going to move the needle so significantly. So that's like first line of defense.
Absolutely. I preach on the weight resistance, resistance training, that
Mm.
we need to be doing that. Everybody can walk, right? For the most part, most people can get out there and walk. And the other piece of that is that cortisol wants you to move.
Mm.
So we need to be moving for a lot of us who are maybe in stressful work environment. Because again, if you're not moving, then you're going to hold on, right? You're going to hold on not only to the stress and the emotional piece of that, but the fat too. So we've got to take care of the movement piece for sure.
Absolutely. That's so well said. So the second thing that I talk about is protein. And if for all the
Mm.
vegans listening, I apologize. I'm going to say it. The protein should be from an animal source. And I'm not going to spend time explaining why right now, but that is what all the research I have read has said. Um, it Protein is really effective at building muscle, at being satiating so that you're eating less, and as we head towards menopause, our need for protein, our protein requirement actually increases, especially for a particular amino acid called leucine. So
Yes.
that's really important. And I say, you got to have protein at every meal. And yes, that means breakfast.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on the protein part. I am plant based, and I know it's difficult to get enough protein, but it's something that you should be tracking. And I am guilty, as guilty is, for tracking. I don't like to track. But when it comes to protein, and I know this, that it is so much better for me if I'm eating the protein at breakfast, lunch,
Mm.
and dinner. So get it in when you can get it in and track it.
And I'm so glad that, being plant-based works for you and you're getting the results you want. So I guess I should add that caveat that everybody is different.
Everybody's different. Yeah.
So you got to
Yeah.
find what works for you.
Right.
And if being plant-based, you are still feeling good and getting your results, then you're doing something right, girl. Um, so another tool, and that is very trendy right now, is called intermittent fasting. So a couple things about that. The benefits are it trains your mitochondria to burn ketones instead of glucose. So that gets back to that metabolic flexibility thing I mentioned. There are many approaches to intermittent fasting, and that's beyond the scope of this little chat. So it's important to find the one that works for you.
Yes.
And intermittent fasting, the point is to move us in and out of ketosis, not to keep us in ketosis all day long. And there are contraindications. It's not for everyone. So it's a tool. It is not something every woman has to do.
Right. And with intermittent fasting, you're talking about there's a feeding window and there's a fasting window. That's what we're talking about with intermittent fasting, in case you are not familiar with that term.
Thank you for that clarification. So moving right along, we need to reduce our sugar and processed foods. I'm sure nobody's surprised to hear that. But what I want to take a minute to talk about is high dose versus low dose fructose. So high dose fructose is going to be too much fructose, and it's going to be found in your processed foods and your desserts. High fructose corn syrup, even agave and honey are really high on the fructose. So we just have to, if we use those, we just need to be cautious about them. Fruit, on the other hand, is low dose fructose and has all these other benefits, including actually improving insulin sensitivity, as well as getting nutrients, fiber, and polyphenols into our bodies. So fruit is not to be feared.
Right. I'm a huge fan of getting in at least 30 grams of fiber a day
Nice.
for women, especially in this time of life.
Nice. Yep, fiber is essential. Um, Now, if you've done all of these things and nothing is helping, you are not moving the needle on your insulin resistance, hormone replacement therapy is something you can look into. I am not an expert in it. I can just give two little tips, which is you never do estrogen alone, always do it with progesterone. And you would do the estrogen therapy because estrogen is insulin sensitizing. And there is this weird trend right now around like doing testosterone for women. And I'm not a fan, and it's going to make insulin resistance worse.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good to know about hormone replacement therapy. It's funny because I feel like we just want the pill. So many of us are like, just give me the pill. There is also this little niche going around, trend about this. It's a shot. And I don't remember off
Mm.
the top of my head. Have you heard this?
I know what the O shot is. Is that the one you're talking
I
about?
don't remember,
Okay.
but they give it to you in your stomach,
Okay.
and it is helping to basically, I think it makes you nauseous, quite frankly, so that you're
Oh,
not eating. So
oh
that you
gosh.
you don't want, to eat. It's like, ugh, not feeling
Whoa.
it. Of course you're gonna lose weight that way, right? So give
Yeah,
me the
but
shot, give me the pill, whatever, give me the pellets, whatever I need to do to get this weight off, right? Don't tell me not to eat my favorite things like
mhm.
the chips and the brownies. No, 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 no. Just give me the easy version. Unfortunately, as we move into this phase of life, we really do again need to back up the train and look
Mm,
at what are some lifestyle changes that we can do first instead of going straight to hormone replacement therapy. But I love the way that you said, if you do X, Y, and Z, and then that's not working, then let's look at the hormone replacement therapy. Because when we're introducing something into the body, it's assuming that everything else about you is healthy and is working, and that whatever we put in the body, it's going to get to where it needs to go. But if
mm,
you've got other things going on, like the inflammation, it's not going to help you like you think it will.
right. Yeah, that's very wise. I mean, whatever the medication is, it's going to be better, even if it's not
Mhm.
hormone therapy. If you're taking medication for something else, it's going to go better with a healthier body that it's
Right.
entering. So I don't know if I've ever heard someone say that, Gina, but it's such a good point.
You just
Um,
have to, we can't always go for the easy stuff. I feel like we've
right.
got to look at the lifestyle first to get
Yeah.
your body ready and, willing to accept whatever else needs to happen there. So, yeah,
Mm,
love these
100%.
tips.
100%. Yeah, I hope that that's helpful. I know we're almost out of time. Do you want me to run through a couple more I have, or should we wrap it up?
I think we'll wrap it up here because I want to hear more about how people can find you. If they are looking for more information about, hey, I want to hear more, help me to lose this weight.
Thank you. Yes, you can find me at kathyfritzcoaching.com. That's Kathy with a K. Fritz, like my hormones are on the fritz, coaching.com.
Awesome. And you have a freebie there, right?
I sure do. Yes, it's 4 surprising ways to reduce your waistline, hot flashes, and insomnia.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I loved this conversation. Thank you so much for coming in to the Coach's Corner this week. And
Lovely to be
we
here.
will, yeah, we will post all of that in the comments or, in the description. That way people can find you. All right, Kathy, until next time, thank you
Bye,
so
everybody.
much.